Okay.
Do you remember anything more about Dad you want to tell?
Your dad?
Yes, my dad.
Well, he wasn't there. He was your dad too.
Okay.
Well, I know that other kids on the block could be outside playing, and you had to come in and bathe and get in your pajamas before dinner, because your father only came home 2 nights 1 week and 3 nights the next week in time for dinner, because the store was open till 10 o'clock at night. So you did get to see some of him. Not as much as a lot of the other kids did with their fathers that came home every night for dinner. And he loved his convertibles. He had a convertible when I met him, and it was an automatic, and I had never driven a car that was automatic and with a stick shift. He said, there's nothing to it. Nothing to it. Here, take a drive. And I promptly choked the car. I don't know how I did that. And the year before he died, he bought another convertible, because when you were little, he said convertibles were not for little kids. And that's when we bought the Studebaker. And the Studebaker was blue, and he always wanted a red car. So one time he went to Earl Scheib for, I don't know, 1999 or 95 or something, really, really cheap. And he had the car painted red, and he hated it. And of course, for that price, when you opened the door, the whole door frame was still blue. But he bought a Buick Skylark convertible, and it was snow on the ground, but we had the top open, and we rode somewhere out near Loch Raven. And when we'd go where the trees would go across the street or the road, that was the witch's house.
Yep, our family still calls him that.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're some of the things that we have kept on with. And he was never one for sports. If we had the Ravens then, we had the Colts, but he didn't know from any of it or care anything about it. So consequently, my kids weren't very athletic either.
No, definitely not.
But because we sold liquor in the store, when the Orioles knew how to play baseball way back then,
Prehistory days.
and we were in the World Series against a California team. I can't tell you which one it was. Anyway, he got tickets to the 4th game, and my father and I went to the World Series at Memorial Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And we won the 4th game, and everybody else that I knew had tickets to the 5th game, and there was no 5th game. And I kept those tickets in that secretary that I don't particularly care for. And after I moved here, I never found those tickets again. I've taken that secretary apart, every secret compartment I can find on it. I don't know what I ever did with it at the time, but I had those tickets, and I know that Scott would have loved to have had them with all of his baseball and football things. But
well, and along the same lines was from one of the dairies we would get one ticket for each home game.
Yeah.
Each home game against a different team.
Green Spring Dairy would sell a book of tickets for maybe $10, and you got to see each of the visiting baseball teams. And I would take Gary and the girls part way to a bus, and they would take the bus the rest of the way to the ballpark.
Oriole Junior, something.
Yeah, Oriole Juniors. Yes, that was the program. You're right, very good.
And the girls would complain they never saw a 9th inning. When it was the 8th
I
inning,
remember complaining.
he made them get up and get out to be sure they got on the bus to come home.
Well, they're lucky that I wasn't the oldest one, because I probably would have made us leave by the 5th inning. I'm such a fanatic, crazy.
Oh.
I was in charge one time when my kids, I keep doing this time to that time. But,
That's fine.
Mike, the Stacy was on a Annapolis trip, and I was one of the people that went on the bus with them, and then we each got a group of kids to take out. Other parents would take the kids here and there. My kids had to stay in a little square radius because I was afraid I would go too far into Annapolis and not be able to find my way back.
She's still like that. Last Sunday we had to go over to Old Navy, and she took her GPS.
Just as a backup.
I said, "You take the 695." We went the back way.
I always take the GPS.
On the Green Spring Valley Road to Falls Road, and then got on the 695 to get on the 83. And I said, "You get off at Timonium," but I didn't know if Old Navy was to our left or to our right. So
her GPS.
Her GPS.
Yeah, we didn't listen to it. We just needed to look at it, be sure before I left.
Anyway, that's that part of it.
Yeah, but years ago, if you had an Old Navy, it was in one place. Not that we did have Old Navy. You didn't have to have 5 other Old Navies. There's too much franchise now. It was just good old Montgomery Ward's and Sears.
Well, and you would just walk up to the mall.
Yes.
The plaza.
Yes.
Oh, but wait a minute. When you were really little kids, we didn't even have a plaza.
No.
I know.
Right.
It was all downtown still, probably, right?
We had to take the clubs and kill the saber-toothed tigers in the clubs.
Yes, a lot. In fact, Mr. Dryban didn't want the plaza up there because it would take some business away from him, even though he had a kosher butcher shop, and that wasn't going to go into the plaza.
That's right.
But, if people would come there, then they would buy something someplace else and not come down to him or what or not. Yes, we would get on the bus and we would go downtown. And you go down there on Thursday because that's the night the stores stayed open later. And the ladies all wore white gloves. A lot of them still wore hats when we would go downtown. And
you never liked the hats.
And I never liked hats. Anyway, I would park in Hutzler's garage, and anything I bought in Hutzler's, I would just tell them, send it to the garage. And when we got our car, our purchases were there. And that was the way it was. And then this time of the year, around Christmas, we would take the kids down, and all of the stores had beautiful displays in their windows. And then after downtown wasn't the place, and Hutzler's moved out to Towson, they had the reindeer in the store.
Reindeer in the store?
Yes, they did.
Live ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't remember that.
Don't remember that, but she does dream up some things.
Live. So why did they have live reindeer in the store?
Christmas.
Just to be sort of a.
I think they were maybe they're right, and I don't remember it right. But
no,
anyway,
I was just teasing you. You probably are right.
But it was always so beautiful to go and look in all the windows downtown.
But to this day, Mom has a great sense of directions. If we go downtown, I can be turned around, not know where I am. Mom will say, go down this street, turn over there, that way, that way. You still know a lot more better directions than I do.
Well, I've been studying them longer than you.
Got a little more
I
practice.
forget. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I have no sense of direction either.
Well, as I said on one of the other portions of this tape, my kids all worked when they were in high school, and Mindy worked in McDonald's, and she had to go pick up rolls from out in the Towson area or Timonium somewhere. And she was driving somebody else's car, and she could only go by Northern Parkway because I told her she wasn't allowed to get on the 695.
Yeah, I don't think they taught me on the 695.
You and Rhodes. First you can't cross the street, then you can't go at 695.
Yeah.
And she's a very good driver right now.
She doesn't have another choice.
No, it's not so. It's not so. And what else do we remember? Where did we go and what did we do?
Oh, Skyline Drive for vacations and the caverns.
Luray Caverns.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I remember doing that.
Oh, I remember the caverns.
I remember the caverns, but I don't think it was my vacation.
And,
You mean we left you home with Rosie?
Probably, always leaving me home. I was telling somebody the other day. I said that I went to UMBC and they said you lived on campus. I'm like, yes. They said I thought it was a commuter school, and I looked down and said my mom wanted me out of the house.
Finally.
When I was a little girl, I was like the youngest one at camp. Why? My mom wanted me out of the house.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The girls could go to Camp Louise at the age of 6. Boys had to be 8 to go to Camp Airy.
So was I 5 going on 6? Is that what happened? Because I wasn't 6 till September.
Probably.
I wasn't even 6, and you had me out.
Yes, you were in junior row.
You were not waiting to get me out of the house.
But we only went for 2 weeks at a shot.
Yes.
When we
Went
went regular, yeah.
2 weeks was a really long time when you were a kid.
Were you already a nurse at the camp or not?
No.
I was a nurse at camp when I was single.
Yes, and then after Sydney.
And I went there 2 years.
But this
She sent me when I was 5.
5, no.
She wasn't a nurse. She wanted me
out of the house.
But after Sydney died, I packed up the kids and took them, after we finished sitting Shiva, I took them up to camp.
Yeah, that summer.
For that summer, for how long, I don't remember. But then I went to work up there, I guess the next year.
God, I didn't know we went to camp that year.
And,
Because I took the tefillin and davened each morning.
You're always older than you were.
Well, there's that story from camp too, the camp doctor.
Oh, well, that's the year after that. When I was 16, Mom was at camp, the girls were at camp. I stayed home to take driver's ed. And I stayed in our house by myself, but I would walk up to my grandparents, Bubie and Pops, who lived behind the plaza, for dinner, and then I'd walk home again. And why I didn't sleep at their place, I don't know. But on the weekends, you'd arrange
they didn't have room for you.
For the doctors who were changing. One doctor would go up, and the other doctor would come back. They'd bring me for the weekend, and I got to stay at the girls' camp at 16. And I was too young to take advantage of the situation. But I was sitting there, and I remember one time I was sitting on the porch reading, and of course it was the weekend that the parents came up to change the kids, and one of the parents came up and asked if I was the new doctor. Because, I already had the beard coming in. I mean, I didn't have a beard, but I had to shave every day. I've been shaving for years.
He was the only child on the children's ward when he was 14 with an electric razor he got as a bar mitzvah gift.
No, I got it as a graduation gift from elementary school.
Oh, okay.
When I graduated from 6th grade, Dad was tired of my using his razor, and he got me my own. So yeah, I've been shaving a long time.
So you're up at camp.
So I was up at camp, and the parent thought that I was the new doctor, because they knew the doctors changed. I was just sitting around relaxing. They just assumed that I was a doctor. So, no, I said, I'm only 16. They were like...
Well, you could have been... Who was that doctor?
Doogie Howser.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah.
He was also a TV.
Well, we're almost as good as TV.
There you go. This is great.